Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Now for you, I have no idea why, but for some reason whenever I do these videos where it's just me and the camera and there's no gameplay, I just stutter a lot more. I don't know why. So there's probably gonna be a million cuts in this video, but that's okay. Now if you're new to my channel, I'm not a music review channel, whatever. I make music, but I'm no way some, music review channel. But if I talk about music on this channel, chances are it's just an album or an artist or a song, whatever, that I like a lot, or something that I just feel like doesn't get enough recognition, like the recognition it really deserves, in my personal opinion. So today we're going to be talking about an album that, for me, I've always thought that at some point, it'll really just pop off. It'll just at some point, it'll just like take off the way that I feel like it deserves to, and it still kind of hasn't. Sit Next to Me from this record really took off, but that's kind of been the only hit. The rest of the album has still been on sleeper mode, in my opinion. And this album is Sacred Hearts Club by Foster the People. And if I own it on vinyl, it's good. If you saw my vinyl collection video, I actually talked about this album. Now, I typically only try to own vinyl records of records I really love, and this is one of them. This is Sacred Hearts Club by Foster the People, an album that to this day I still feel like has not gotten the recognition it really deserves. This is Foster the People's third album after Supermodel, and I remember this was around the time I actually discovered Foster the People, or at least really got into him. I'd known of Pumped Up Hit, but around the time that I started getting heavily into Foster the People was around the time that this album actually dropped. And actually I have a print, like one of my prints back there, the one you see on the left there, is actually a Static Space Lover themed print. I can put the picture up on the screen here. Essentially that tells you how much I love this album. Now you may be asking, like, what do I think about this album that makes it such a sleeper album, an album that I still feel like has not gotten the recognition it deserves? And that really comes down to the fact that this album is just a 10 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. And yes, this is probably my favorite Foster the People album. Torches is like probably a close second. If people are Foster the People fans, I don't see many people calling this album their favorite album, but this to me is their best album and my favorite album. But first and foremost, this album just combines so many different genres, and so many music does nowadays, but it does it in a way that's so seamless and it feels so cohesive in this atmosphere. This album seamlessly combines trap, electronic, the usual Foster the People indutronic elements, with some heavy EDM elements at times, some nice piano moments, some very psychedelic moments, very funk moments, very just kind of funk rock moments, has a very 80s feel to it, but yet even though it has an 80s feel, it combines a lot of modern elements very seamlessly. Like for example, the track Lotus Eater has a very, very retro vibe, but it's on the same album as songs like Pay the Man, Doing It for the Money, and Loyal Like Sid and Nancy, which have some very, very heavy bass, some very trappy elements, some very EDM elements at times. Now, Loyal Like Sid and Nancy is a track that is so underrated because it starts off with this very kind of EDM, very dance, very clubby vibe, very boomy bass. There's also vocal pitch shifting everywhere on this album, but it's done very, very tastefully and it sounds amazing. Loyal Like Sid and Nancy takes so many different directions because, like I said, it starts off with that very boomy kind of EDM trap clubby vibe, and actually at the end you get these beautiful strings that come in. The song ends with kind of a piano solo, and the outro to this song is so beautiful because the strings kind of get teased throughout the song. It'll be like brr, brr, never, and there are strings there, but later the strings come back for this grand outro where it's just so emotional. It's the outro where he's like, never ask for many favors, nothing I want from you, and the strings just sound beautiful, backing Mark, and it is just a beautiful outro. Like Loyal Like Sid and Nancy is a masterpiece of a song, and a song that I still wish to this day would get more recognition. Thankfully, Sit Next to Me from this record kind of took off, which that song has a very, very groovy bass line to it. Obviously it's about, catching a nice vibe with, special someone, and it sounds great. Now, every one of these songs has amazing production, so I can't really say like one has, a grand, much better production than the other, because they all have very cohesively great production. But Doing It for the Money has a way of capturing this very, very beautiful and nostalgic feel. When the chorus hits, there would be kind of these bell hits in the background and these very retro pads that carry along the song too, and it has this very, very just anthemic bass to it, very trippy vocal effects too, kind of like every song here. But Doing It for the Money, just another amazing highlight. Pay the Man has some very, very underrated lyricism. I believe lyric is like, the deaf man heard what the mute man said, and then they all followed where the blind man led, which is like such a fucking fire lyric, dude. And every chorus on this album just sounds like very, very full. Like every chorus just has the right amount of instruments going on, not too much, not too little, like it's just right. Another great thing about this album are the transition tracks. So Orange Dream and Time to Get Closer are amazing bridges between the tracks that come before and after them. For example, if it was like Lotus Eater right into Loyal Like St. Nancy, that'd be a very harsh transition between two very, very different songs. It may work, but to ensure that that transition runs smoothly, they have Time to Get Closer, which is a beautiful segue with those tracks. I'm probably gonna talk about like I'm probably gonna talk about every single song in this album because I just love them so much. 3 is such an amazing closer that has these very kind of vaporwavy elements to it, but it's also got piano. His vocals sound amazing. It almost feels kind of heavenly is how I would describe this song. It feels like Mark Foster died and is just singing from heaven or something. That's like how I like feel about 3 every time I hear it, but it just feels very otherworldly. It's also just a beautiful closer to the album. I love the very glitchy vocals, and also aesthetically the way they marketed this album was great because the coloration, like the vinyl and everything, just the entire color palette and aesthetics they use for this album fits the sound absolutely perfectly. It feels modern but also retro, just like the songs on this album. Even the songs aren't really like as deep, like I Love My Friends, you know, very, very simple chorus, you know, simple groove and everything. It works really, really well on this album. And again, even on the most simple tracks, production on this album does not let up. Like this is like a fucking album. Like some albums can kind of feel disjointed, you know, they can kind of feel like a compilation of songs. Like this feels like a whole complete body of work, but yet it is so diverse and like so cohesive at the same time. Like front to back, this is such a smooth running listen. Static Space Lover is a very beautiful retro kind of driven love tune. And that's like the one that's like inspired by that print I have back there. And this one has vocalist Jenna Malone, I believe, on it. But her and Mark are a wicked combo. Very just great back and forth singing on that song, and Mark just slays the chorus. It sounds beautiful. Sacred Hearts Club, SHC, the title track I suppose for this record, has an amazing, just it feels like what I can best describe as like a tornado of guitars, because there's just guitar notes hitting everywhere, and it's so like seamlessly blended and so well mixed that it just feels like this guitar eargasm of like a song. Like there's that solo guitar that comes in at the end where he's like, do you want to live forever? And it's like this like guitar that comes in like in the back, and it sounds so amazing. It's so subtle. Mixing on this album is beautiful, and holy shit, the bridge on that song too, the bridge on Sacred Hearts Club, sounds amazing. It just gets all spacey. It's like you sink into this giant atmosphere, and it's so well mixed, and Mark Foster's vocals there are so well mixed. He's such a fitting vocalist for just this entire album. It just sounds so fucking good, dude. Like I feel like I've generally at least like gone over each song in this album, man. Like this is just such, oh wait, I forgot one. Yeah, Her in the Pit is another amazing tune. It's very kind of trap driven, very, you know, kind of boomy bass, but when that chorus hits, it's so just from the heart and just beautiful. And Mark Foster's flow on this song is so great because it's kind of hip hop, kind of rappy, but it's not, you know, because he's still singing and stuff, and it sounds so great with the living in another spot, treads got me tripping out, love, like it sounds so good, dude. And he just nails these flows, and it's like, and again, another example where the hip hop elements are so just seamlessly interwoven into the record, and it sounds amazing. Like I still don't know why the hell this record does not get the credit that it deserves, in my opinion, but hopefully, you know, me making this video can kind of help that somewhat. I'm not a big channel by any means, but I just want to do everything I can. Like if I feel something is like underrated or not getting the recognition it deserves, I will talk about it, and I will talk about it until it gets the recognition that I feel like it deserves, because this album is so good, and to this day it still has not gotten the recognition it deserves, in my opinion. So I love this album. This is Sacred Hearts Club by Foster the People. Again, I'm not a music review channel, but if I really like albums or I really like music, I will talk about them, because, you know, I make music myself. I also like to talk about, you know, music that's inspired me, that's influenced my sound and all that, and this is definitely a big one right here, Sacred Hearts Club by Foster the People. But yeah, that was me talking about Sacred Hearts Club by Foster the People. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, subscribe, and all that. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day / night whenever you're watching this. Much love and peace out.